Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa and I'm so thankful you are here for a January 2022 full budget closeout. Many of you actually had asked if I could do a step-by-step of a monthly budget by paycheck workbook with the Budget Mom closeout video. So I will be doing that on today's video. There will be everything time-stamped below in case you want to skip over things and don't really want to watch particular stuff. So we will just get right into it. Well, I guess before then, I'll let you know I do create budgeting content, planning content, and side hustle content on this YouTube channel. If you like any of that, please consider hitting the subscribe button and giving the video a big thumbs up. So I had posted a video closing out the first half of January where I walked through how exactly I did the highlighter method, closing out the expenses. So I'll link that video up in the corner here if you're interested in that. But essentially, for a quick snapshot overview, I have each of my expenses correlated with a budget category and a color, and I go through and I highlight basically color coordination, and then I add up all the colors and they are combined down here, and this is really what I use to close out basically it was the first half, and now we're going to close out the second half, and then we're going to go through and close out the entire budget, which is like the debt payment plan. Specifically, where did my money go is what we will be closing out. I actually don't really use the debt payment plan and the monthly net tracker, so we won't be going over those, but we will be going over the where did my money go for both the budget category breakdown and the debt savings breakdown. But first, we've got to close out the second half of January. So we're pretty much going to start from the top, and I have to remember when we close out this budget that I need to close out the bonus. I actually had to close out the bonus, but I need to incorporate it into the savings. So something you have to really remember. So paycheck, let's go over here. So $16.69 was what I received from my full-time job. I hope this pen is not out of ink. These pens seem to run out of ink, and I thought I ordered more like replacement cartridges, but I guess I didn't, so I need to do that. Anyhow, and then side hustles was $4.44. And then we did have some payback in terms of Venmo, so let's make sure that wasn't the only one. We got $90. Okay, yep, that was it for this. And then savings was actually a lot more than I had anticipated. Something got very messed up on my budget. I have an inkling feeling about what it was, but I did have to pull some money from my checking account cushion. I tried to keep about $1,000 in my checking account cushion because it's just really easy. My checking account cushion is actually held in a different account, but it's within the same bank of my checking account, so I can easily transfer the money if anything were to happen. I'm gonna double check the 1767 number just to make sure I didn't miscalculate anything, but it sounds about right. 73.44 plus 127.95. Let's see here, 1767. We're just gonna leave off the cents because I had cents up here, so it'll just kind of incorporate down there, and it just makes it easier math purposes. Plus 444, so we're calculating the total income here. And that brings us to $3,970 for these 2 weeks. Keep in mind, a majority of that chunk was from savings that I had to pay things off for. So now we need to go to our expense tracker and see where things came out. So we did have rent that came out at $400. And then utilities, I do know were more expensive. I believe it was a total of $152. So in my rent category, I have rent and utilities. So if we subtract the $400 from this $552, would give us $152, which is the only other thing that would have been left over in the rent. And then Spotify, let's see, we budgeted $10 and it should have been exactly $10 Spotify. Yes, I can write that here. And then Peacock, I believe, was $5 as well. We'll go find that $5 transaction. I thought I wrote it down on here. Maybe I'm missing it. Let's see. Interesting. Oh, wait, right here. Peacock. Okay, perfect. We got Peacock. And then LA Fitness, I know, came out, which should be a... Yep, right here, we're going to write that as 50. So we write 5 and 50. And then car insurance, I did have that. So 652 was actually the total. 652. Student loan was 125, and we can double check that if we need to. 125. And then Acorn, this is just the $20. We've got 120 and 220, so that was 40. And then I did have my therapy session, which was $25, so we'll double check that that came out. Should be self-care. Yep, right there. Perfect. So as we go back to the fixed expenses here, we had 400 plus 152 plus 10 plus 5 plus 50 plus 652 plus 125 plus 40 plus 25 gives us $1,459 for total fixed expenses for the month. Now we need to subtract that by the 3,970. Gives us $2,511 left over for the rest of the budget. Okay, and now on to the variable expenses. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I should probably keep my calculator out here. But as we go back, so groceries was $105. We're gonna round up on that one. So we kept pretty close to our grocery budget. Eating out was $178, so we did not do super great at sticking to that budget. Gas and car, let's see, $38 for gas and car. Investments is everything minus that $40 we'd already calculated. So the $65.94 minus the 40 would be $25.94. So we're gonna say $26 went to the variable investments. So the difference here is every Wednesday or Thursday I have $20 taken out of my checking and invested into my Acorns account. And then this investment here is actually for the roundups on my card. So every transaction that doesn't end in 0.00 cents, it will round up to 0.00 cents to the nearest dollar and then invest that for me. It does a chunk every week, or it gets to a certain increment, something like that. Fun and entertainment. So, okay, this is where we need to do some math. So originally our fun and entertainment was 1252.28. Then we subtract from Spotify is part of fun and entertainment. So we subtract the $10. Same with the Peacock. And I think that's actually it. Why was my fun and entertainment so high? Oh yes, I had, I think, season tickets for something I needed to pay for, and I kind of budgeted for that. And then I had some other season tickets and just some other fun and entertainment I needed to pay for, which all came out of sinking funds. So I was totally fine with that. It just kind of throws off my numbers because it wasn't completely accurate. So we already minus the 10 and we've minus the 5 for the Spotify and Peacock. So the total should be $1,237 for fun and entertainment. I forgot to calculate it in there because it's one of those things where I totally forgot about it, and then you get an email you need to redo this or you don't get, priority whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And thankfully I just was already saving for stuff like this, so it wasn't really a big deal. And the next one is self-care. So it's actually just this $50 because we've already calculated the LA Fitness and the therapy. So $50 is for my nails. I don't believe I had anything in holiday. Nope, nothing for holiday. Miscellaneous, we'll just look right here at the total calculation. So $35. Travel and vacay, 0 as well. And then pets, for my Lila, it was we'll round up here, $24. Okay, so looking at all of the variable expenses, my handwriting is a little bit off today, I apologize. But we've got 105 plus 178 plus 38 plus 26 plus 1237 plus 50 plus 35 plus 24 gives us $1,693. And then we need to subtract the 1,693 from the 2,511. So minus 2,511 gives us $818 left over. So 1,000, oops, that's incorrect. We need to write the 818, and I'm surprised I actually didn't write all of this down in terms of what I had saved for. So I believe we had $595, and if I made that transfer correctly, then it should have been exactly correct. Okay, $595 is what I put in, and I believe I had some other savings. So I saved an extra $25 for the house, and of course we had the student loan. So really the total savings should be $595 plus the extra $25 for the house, so $620 was that total. And I didn't originally have house written down here, so we're gonna write 0, but actually 25, and then all of this was correct. When I make the transfer in my Ally account, I can sort of dictate the different buckets that I put this money into, and when I make that transfer, I can put the money right in the bucket so I don't have to do it later, and I do know that's exactly what I did. So if we do 618 minus 620, so 818 minus 620 gives us 198. So this was left over for debt, and this is where things got a little bit wonky. Oh goodness. So for debt, it looks like I put $200 towards debt. Oh, I guess I didn't make it a little bit wonky. I had like a super weird thing happen with my checking account, and I thought these numbers were going to be so off, and I've been so anxious to film these videos, or this video specifically, because I'm like, oh my god, my checking account is off. I have no idea what happened, but it looks like everything worked out exactly the way it was supposed to work out. So really we were just -2, and I'm going to accumulate that to all of the rounding. So my checking account as of right now, filming this video, actually technically I've gotten paid, but I have not put anything on my checking account or on my debit card yet because I want to make sure it all balances out, but it is 0 minus the paycheck that I've received. I've not moved anything around yet. So yay, I'm so happy that that closed out so perfectly. I'm gonna say like really that was like 2 for 2 this month, you guys. Not something that really happens. If we go back to the original budget, it was -1 due to rounding, and then this one is -2, probably also due to rounding. So I'm so thankful that that worked out because this has been really stressing me out when I was closing out my like total budget here. So that's fantastic. Very happy about that. So now that we've closed out the entire month in terms of the budget category tracker, or the paycheck budget tracker, excuse me, now we need to move on to the rest of the pages here. So we're going to move along. So the debt payment plan. So this is something that I should probably utilize more, and I meant to look up my total debts for student loans before filming of this video, but I didn't. I know I have student loan, which is a Parent Plus loan, which is the highest amount. I believe it's about $183K. And then the other one is about $26K in my name. The other one's in my mom's name. And that is the only debt that I have. Assets and liabilities. Liabilities for me would really just be my student loan. Assets would be like the Acorns account, my savings account, Ally, everything that's like a positive amount for me, and then liabilities would be like a negative. So if you had a mortgage, that would go on here, but then an asset would also be your house. So it would kind of like balance each other out in a sense. But yeah, I do not utilize this video. It's pretty self-explanatory. You write out your total debts, write out all the payments you made, and you calculate sort of like your new balance going into February. This side is something I do utilize significantly. I think the only time I didn't do it last year was at the end of December because I just didn't feel like it. Honestly, it's not a great excuse, but this can be very overwhelming and it's very time consuming, but it yields you a lot of really excellent information. So the starting balance, so this is where we're going to get it from the very beginning of January. What did we start our balance off with? And I start off with a 0 balance in my budget, so I didn't have any rollover here. So the starting balance is 0. Now, earned income is everything that I earned from my like W-2 job, like my full-time job. So that's what we're going to calculate now. So we've got $1,651, and here we need to make sure we look at the actual. So $1,651, that was for the first half. And then I will calculate my bonus in this one. So 10,422 plus 10,422 plus, going on to the second half of January, then we had 1,669 plus 1,669 gives us a total of $13,742. Other income would be side hustle income for me, Venmo, like payback, and I think that's really the only things that we will look at here. So side hustle income, we've got 562, oh, and 300 for payback, so 330 plus 562. Now going on, we can skip the bonus because we've already calculated that. Side hustle plus 444 plus payback was 90, gives us $1,426. And then savings used, we've got, let's actually start from the beginning of the month. So savings used, we didn't use anything at the beginning of January here for savings. And then in the second half, we did use the 1767, so that's what I'm going to put here. 1767. Now we need to calculate the total monthly inflow, the money that flowed into my account. So we've got 13,742 plus 1,426 plus 1767 gives us $16,935 for the total monthly inflow. Note about 10,000 of this was from the bonus side here. So I'll actually make a little note of that. How much was the bonus? 10,422. Okay, bonus equals, I just want to make sure. So we all remember that this is not my normal income. My normal income is pretty much the side hustles plus the paychecks here, which gives us to be about 4,000 to 5,000 every month. And then for the budget categories, we kind of looked at this earlier, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down all of the budget categories here, and then we will start going through how to close out the month with the monthly budget, spent, difference, and the total monthly inflow. So now that we have all of the budget categories written down, we need to start closing out the category breakdown. So I actually like to go line by line and across versus doing it all at once. It just makes more sense in my head for me. So if we start off with groceries, since groceries only appears for me in the variable expenses down here, I don't have like different budget categories appearing in multiple sections. Grocery is pretty easy to close out. So we're going to look at the beginning of the month. So we had budgeted 100 for groceries. And in number 2, we also had budgeted 100 for groceries. So the total was 200 for groceries. However, the monthly spent, and this is where I'm going to look at my expense trackers because they give me the exact amount. You could also look over here too, since it only appears in, it's the same numbers as what's going to be on the expense tracker. But I like to look at the expense tracker for monthly spent because it's just a lot easier looking at one place, especially when we get to categories that appear in multiple sections of the budget. So for the first half, we had 130.72. For the second half of January, we had 104.93. So plus 104.93 gives us a total, and I'm probably gonna round up here. So 236, because that's gonna be the easiest. And for the difference, I specifically go the monthly budget minus the monthly spent, which would give us negative $36. Means I went into the negative for my budget here. Like I had less money than I had budgeted for. If it's a positive, then I was left over with more money in that category. It's helpful if you do like cash, if you're a cash spender, but I am not a cash spender. So for the monthly, or the percent of total monthly inflow, this is where you're going to take the monthly spent, so you can pretty much ignore the budget. So you got 236, and you're going to divide it by the total monthly inflow, which was 16,935, and then you times that by 100 to get your percent. So my total percent spent on grocery for the month was 1.4%. Now, if it was a normal month, this percent, I should say, would be a lot higher, but because of the bonus, it's not going to be as high. That's going to be the same for everything else. So next we're going to do eating out, and after eating out, we'll probably do something like investment, since that appears in the fixed expenses and the variable expenses, so you guys can see how I do it, and then I'll go through and do this myself without speaking to you guys, so hopefully you get the point of that. And so for eating out, what did we have budgeted? We had $150 for the first half of the month, and then we had $125 for the second half. So that gives us a total budget of $275. I already know this was way negative here. So looking at the expense tracker, we had $221 plus the second half of the month was $177.67. So we're going to do $399. Holy crap, that's a lot of money to be spending per month on eating out for one person. It's just me. It's literally just me. So $275 minus $399 gives us negative 124. So then we take the $399, so to find the percent, divided by the total monthly inflow, which was $16,935. So times 100, 2.4%. I'm going to round for a lot of this here. So that's for something that if it only appears in like one part of my budget, so grocery and eating out only appear here. I don't have any other expenses elsewhere for it. But let's talk about investments, because this can get a little bit confusing, and that's why when I put the monthly spent, I always look at the expense tracker. As a reminder, we've got Acorns as investment and investments down here in variable expenses. So if we calculate the total amount that was budgeted for, we had $40, plus we also had $40 down here, so which would give us 80. Something I've thought about doing is taking a highlighter and kind of color coding this as I go through so I can remember what it's for. And that might actually be something I do going forward. So I remember, okay, Acorns is green. This green is actually for investments. That's what it is on my budget category breakdown. So all the colors are keeping consistent. I'm not sure if I'm really going to do that, but we'll see. It might be really helpful. And if you're getting confused by this, I would 100% encourage you to go through and like dot them, highlight them, whatever color is correlated with that category, so you're not forgetting about it. So we've got the investments there for the first half. Go back to my page here. So we got 80 for the first half. And then same thing here. We had Acorns and investments, which is part of the same budget category. So which is another 80 total. So plus 80, which gives us 160 total budget. And now this is why I like to go to the expense trackers right away so that I'm not having to flip back and forth and calculate two separate sections. It should already be calculated here for me. It's got 3206 plus 65.94 plus 65.94 gives us $98 total spent for investments. So 160 minus 98 gives us positive $62. Then we take 98 divided by the total monthly inflow, which is 16,935, times 100 gives us, I think, 0.5%, 0.6%. And then what I also do is I take it's pink, but I don't have a red highlighter. So red and green, if the difference is negative, it's gonna be red. So I highlight this red. And then kind of on the flip side, if it's green, I'm in the positive, I do highlight it green. It just so happens that the green is also the same green for investments. I'll have some other ones that are also highlighted green, so don't get confused by that. I just like to know right away like which ones I was over budget and which ones I was under budget based on pink and green, red or green. If you have a red highlighter, I don't care, use a red highlighter. So I'm gonna go through, calculate all of this, and then we will get together at the end to do the monthly debt and savings breakdown.
Aren't you tired of the drama? You use your words like they are knives. I don't need that type of drama and trying to be tough all the dang time. You try to make yourself feel better by taking me down. Once I fell, but now I'm strong, I'm ready for the rematch. Shoot me down, don't you know I get up? Yeah, baby, I will fight. No, there ain't nothing stopping me. I'm bulletproof, I won't fall. I'm bulletproof, go on and shoot me down. I will always get up again. You're looking at me so cold. Get over yourself, are you for real? Why are you looking at me so cold? One's love is now we're enemies. You try to make yourself feel better by taking me down. Once I fell, but now I'm strong, I'm ready for the rematch.
Okay, we are back and I have calculated everything for the Where Did My Money Go monthly budget category breakdown. As you can see, everything in red is where I was over budget and everything in green is where I was under budget. Savings, great to be over budget on. I'm not complaining about that. The rest could definitely use improvement. We have our regular repeat offenders for over budget of grocery, eating out. Same with fun and entertainment and rent. So I've really got to hone those down a little bit. I say that every single month when I close out this budget, and I have yet to actually incorporate that. And before I move on, I want to make a quick note. So when I was closing out let's see here, the second half of January's budget, I noticed I had put -2 as a total debt total, but really it was 200 and I was left with -2. So just fix that on here. You may have noticed it when I was closing out the original budget. I think I was getting too excited that I ended up kind of in the correct spot. But that's for the monthly. Where did my money go? Goodness gracious, I've yet to have coffee this morning, you guys. I'm rewarding myself with coffee after I finish filming this video. So the Where Did My Money Go monthly debt and savings breakdown, this is probably one of my favorite things to calculate. So but it gets a little confusing. So total monthly inflow of debt is exactly what you had here. So we had $16,935 for the inflow. Monthly debt payoff, we're going to grab this number right here, which is 803, and this number, which was 4.7%. And then the categories that we basically put debt to. So if you look back, we had a Discover card, and then I believe we had an Alaska Airlines card as well. Yep, Alaska and Discover. So we're going to write that, Discover and Alaska Airlines credit card. And the total we put towards each of those. So this is going to be, again, a lot of flipping back and forth, but we did put 603 towards the Discover card. And then we put how much towards, I think it's 200. Yep, we put 200 towards the Alaska card. So we can break those down based off the total percent or total amount we put towards debt. So when you're calculating percent of category towards debt, you're no longer looking at the inflow, you're looking at the monthly debt payoff. So we're going to take 603 divided by 803, gives us 75%. And I know because I can do simple math, this will be 25%, but we'll do it for learning purposes. 200 divided by 803 gives us, pretty much if you round up, it's 25%. So that's fantastic. So overall, we put about a little less than 5% of our total monthly inflow towards debt. Normally this is a lot higher because of course we have the bonus that we incorporated here. I've decided, making an executive decision here, that my student loans, this goes actually into a savings. That's where this is going right now. I'm not actually applying it towards my debt, so I'm not going to put it as debt yet until I bring it back into my budget and I do a mass payment. That's when I'll start considering it as debt. So right now it's just considered as savings. Just an FYI. Savings, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, but it's really not that complicated once you get the hang of it. So what you're going to do, you're going to take the total monthly inflow, so 16,935, and subtract any savings that you use. So we used $1,767, and then that's what you're going to use for the total monthly inflow or income for the savings. Notice how this says inflow and income, because you're not incorporating like savings. You're not going to bring savings in and then put that exact same savings back into savings. Like, that doesn't make sense. But you could be using other money to put back into savings, and that's what we want to focus on here. So that's what we're going to do. And so for towards savings, how much did we put? $11,647, and we need to recalculate this number here. So it's going to be 11,647 divided by 15,168. So in reality, we put almost, let's see, times 100, 77% of the total income for January towards savings, which is absolutely incredible. So the different savings that we're going to break down here, we're going to do sinking funds, and we're going to do student loan. Whoops, if I can, I'm going to actually write all these out because I do get them confused. So sinking funds, student loan, and then I believe the only other one is house, and then I do my emergency fund. I do like to break it out. So we might have to do some calculating here, but hopefully not too much. Okay, so going back, we're kind of done with this page now. Pat yourself on the back, you did it. I know it's complicated, but it is really helpful to see. So for student loans, we put $125 for the first half of the month. So 125, whoops, 125. It should be at $250 total because I don't think I did any more towards student loans. Oh, I did. I put $2,913. So plus $2,913 because that is from my bonus paycheck. I need to make sure I'm looking at that. Plus the other $125. And I didn't put any other student loan. So for student loan, we had a total of $3,163. Oh, I wrote that very, very wrong. $3,163. Now for the house, I'm gonna go calculate this total too before we do the sinking funds. So we had 43 in the first half of January, and then we need to go to the bonus paycheck, which I put 5,000 towards. And then we're working on this one, which I put 25 towards. So 5,068 for the house. And then we need to go to the emergency fund. It doesn't look like I put anything towards the emergency fund in the first half of the month. For the bonus paycheck, I put $1,400 towards an emergency fund. And then what else? I put $150 towards an emergency fund at the end of the month, so the second half of January. So total was $1,550 for the emergencies fund. $1,550. And now I chose to calculate all of these first, so I didn't have to go through and nitty-gritty calculate all of the rest of this minus the stuff we've already calculated. So I'm gonna do the 11,647 minus 3,163 minus 5,068 minus 1,550 gives us $1,866 towards the other sinking funds that I wanted to save for. So then we'll divide that by 11,647 because we need to figure out the percentage of the category saved, which gives us 16%. 3,163 divided by 11,647 gives us 27%. The house, we will take 5,068 divided by 11,647, which is about 44%. And then 1,550 towards the emergency fund divided by 11,647 is about 13%. So that is how you close out both the debt and the savings breakdown for January. The next page here, I don't utilize this either, but you're essentially going to copy all of these categories right here, put the amount spent, which you have here, and the percent here, and then you compare it to like December is really what it's supposed to be used for. I don't really find it helpful because every month is so different in my life that I just don't think that it's super knowledgeable. And of course you have the meal plan here, which I also don't utilize this, and then the cash totals or the teller slips, but I don't really go to the bank. So yes, I think that is just about everything for closing out this video. Leave me some questions in the comment section below. I do plan on doing a live in about a week and a half, and I can answer any questions that you have on that. If it's something specific, I'm not quite sure if I can help you because it would take a lot of time for me to kind of like go over it. But if it's kind of general, then, you know, leave it in the comment section below. I guess if it is also a little bit more specific, leave it in the comment section, and maybe some other people have run into similar things. I'm not an expert at this. I've only been learning how to do this for about a year and a half. So I will do my best to answer anything, and especially if you're starting out, it can be very overwhelming to close this out. But once you get the hang of it, man, it goes fast. So I so appreciate all of you watching this video. I hope you've had a wonderful day wherever you're watching it, and I will see you in my next one real soon. Oh, before you go, if you can consider hitting that like button, making sure you subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Free to do, and it helps out my YouTube channel. But enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
You're looking at a self-made woman.